Very quickly, we will revise what we did. And then today, we will see the presentation done by our Radhesham Prabhuji from Pune. And Prabhuji is a style, and this is the beauty. Different devotees, they have different ways of presenting. And Prabhuji's style is very similar to Gaurang Darshan Prabhuji, because Gaurang Darshan Prabhuji, if you pick, it's the way he does is in the form of flow charts, which makes it easier to figure out where we are and where we should be and what are the next steps. So with that, let's do Srila Prabhupada Ji ki jai. So we will do a quick Mangalacharya and then we shall resume. Om. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurinmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Sadayam Yadati Yadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yudapadkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sute Devi Paramami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo 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 Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev Maharaj ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radesha. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. And we have been doing Sri Isopanisad. So let's quickly recap what we have done so far. The whole mantra 18 been split into different themes. So we started from invocation mantra to mantra 3, how to live in harmony with Ishwar. Then 4 to 8, the only way to understand Ishwar, Krishna, is by spiritual vision. And we get that from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Then from 9 to 11 is right and wrong Vidya, the understanding, the knowledge. And the very important point to mention mantra 11 is how they both go hand in hand. It's when you spend your time in spiritual wisdom, there will be a darker side about material where you won't be able to spend time on. Hence, both of them will go hand in hand. So the vidya, the knowledge we need to have is the way we need to spend time. Is it spiritual or material? Because if you spend time in a spiritual, definitely there will be some Netflix series, some sports, some movies where you won't have time for. For months are 12 to 14, that once you have the knowledge, with that knowledge, with that wisdom, how to worship the Lord. And this is the upasana, right and wrong upasana. And the same thing here, that deity worship is very important, but considering the consciousness we have. And I would like to wish you all a great, auspicious Ganesh Chaturthi. Ganesh Ji's Utsav is there. And we always pray to Ganesh Ji to take the obstacles away from our path, not for the material gains, but for the spiritual progress. So all the struggles, all the obstacles we have in our route to spiritual enlightenment, may Lord Ganesha take that away, take care of that. And that's the prayer we have for Lord Ganesha. Not for material gain, but for spiritual realization. Once we have that, right and wrong upasana, now we're going to do, so the worship is one part. So somebody said puja, and then somebody said bhakti. So when we do worship is mainly puja, because there's a lot of material things involved. But when we do bhakti, when we pray to the Lord with the deepest and clear consciousness, that's where the Lord, the Krishna understands. That what Krishna always says, man mana mad bhakto. That those devotees of mine who, so when we were discussing recently, somebody said that Krishna, or Prabhuji actually said it, that Krishna is a bhav grai. So it's not what we offer, it's how the consciousness we are offer with. Hence Krishna said, Patram Pushpam Phalam Puram. Offer me anything, but with love, with devotion, with a purified consciousness, not with some kind of hidden motives. And that's where we are, that we would like to pray to Krishna to reveal himself. And the very first thing we discuss in that, and if I go straight to mantra 15, that there is, there's why, yeah. So if you see this in the mantra 15, on one side, there is the Brahm Jyoti, and on the other side, the Krishna's glorious face. And the devotees requesting and praying Krishna that please take me beyond this Brahm Jyoti. Because Brahm Jyoti is a spiritual, but devotees don't get the opportunities to serve Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So, which meant that it will be spiritual, no Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, it won't be there, but there won't be any bhakti there. It will be all spiritual, it will be the absence of all the miseries, but the pleasure devotees have in serving Krishna and Krishna's devotees, in devotional service, that will be missed. Hence, we say that whatever the Gautam Buddha would like to think in terms of enlightenment, which is good enough. What Adi Shankaracharya ji said, Aham Brahmasmi, that's good enough because Brahman realization is part of it. But the devotees would like to go beyond it. And we are not comparing that one is better than others, but what we are saying is that devotees would like to have the opportunity to serve. Hence, devotees would pray to Krishna to go beyond it. And this is what it is. Maybe for some, like what Krishna has given many different options to Arjun. If somebody is coming from this path, better be that. If not, better be that. Not better be that. Similarly, if somebody is working towards Brahman realization, great. But we do need to understand, even those who reach to the Brahman realization, they would like to get to the next level of Brahma and Paramatma realization. Please, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, just a thought that these effulgence, could it be the obstacles that Krishna wants us to avoid before we can reach him?
That's so true, Mataji. That's so true. It's been mentioned somewhere. It's so in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a mention. Similar question was asked from after a Bhagavatam class from Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji, and Mahaprabhuji said the same thing, that just so Krishna would like to test that who is pure, and only the purest of the pure will able to reach Krishna. And then he said it's like taking a torch, and Krishna will just show the torch on the face. Those who who don't have more patience and they will turn away. Oh no, we don't want to go any further. Then Krishna says, okay, you're not ready. When you're ready, come along. But those who are happy to bear that, and this is what happens. Somebody said that why so many miseries comes, and then the senior Vaishnavas, they explained the reason these miseries comes. They kind of test as well. When we so in the jewelry, we need to we take the gold, and gold, if gold has impurities, we burn it in the fire, and the fire will only take the purities away. What's left is a pure gold. You can't take more impurities out of it. And this is what happens during that process. So if there are like 10 devotees, 100 devotees, a lot and a lot of them, they are happy. So if you think in terms of miseries, getting rid of miseries and the bliss, a lot of times we just want to get rid of our miseries. And that's what Brahmjyoti does. But what Krishna says, do you just want to relax from your miseries, or do you want to take the pleasure in my own association? And so you're right. Sometimes Brahmjyoti is just there to differentiate between those two. And there is no hurry, because somebody who has reached to the Brahmjyoti will fall down, and fall down in a terms that if you want to go further, you might have to come back to the human form anyways. Like all the heavenly bodies, everyone in the heavens, they said the same. Brahmaji said it, Lord Shiva said it, that if you would like to go, then if you remember Goloka chart, out of all the 14 planetary systems, then planet Earth, who is the only one where you can come and straight go to the Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, you can go to above Indralok, which is the heaven. We do have Taplok, Maharlok, Satyalok, Brahmlok. So all these four, they're anyways higher than all these demigods. Hence, when Hiranyakashipu comes and kick all the demigods out, they go to these sages, and they go to Brahmaji, because they all are higher than them. And how are they higher? They're higher in the consciousness, because in heaven everybody who likes to enjoy. So this is what you're right. That this Brahmjyoti will come, maybe just to differentiate real devotees from those who just want to get relief of the miseries. And sometimes this happens. Somebody did say that for his own guru, that wasn't in the Hare Krishna movement, was not in the Gauriya Math, was not even in Bhakti, but said that, oh, my guru has gone into Brahmjyoti. And then a few years later, the same devotee said, oh, well, he's coming back. And somebody said, what do you mean he's coming back? He said he's coming back because I think he's bored. He wasn't sure, but he said initially, and this is where we see that again, Gautam Buddha said that you will get. So very first thing Gautam Buddha realized, there is misery, right? And then he said, actually, there is not just a misery, there are causes of miseries. If we know the causes of miseries, there's a whole practice we can follow to get rid of this misery, right? And once we will get rid of miseries, we will feel relieved. And that's where the Buddhism comes in, which is great, because Gautam Buddha saw everyone was suffering and he wanted to get rid of suffering, which he did at the end. But he never talked about higher bliss. He just said, take the suffering away. And of course, if the suffering will go away, you will feel relief, which is then happiness in itself. But what's the supreme bliss on top of it, which a lot of like Mirabai ji, she was there, Tukaram ji, and they didn't even feel those miseries. They all those miseries were there. They didn't have to transcend those miseries, but they were so much in bliss that these sufferings, they didn't mean anything to them. So from Vishakhapatnam, our Nitya Sevni Mataji explained in one of her lectures that it's like when we are there traveling by road, then we have to stop for the red light. But when the plane is flying, the plane will not stop for that life, because plane is going on a different dimension altogether. And the same thing is somebody is there on the road walking, you will see big buildings, massive buildings. But if you are in a plane, the same buildings are there, but you are so high enough, those buildings you can still see, and the buildings are there, and you have to go bypass those buildings. But those buildings are very small in size now. They will not affect your vision, because your vision will go above them. And that's how she explained that those who are materialistics, they get stuck on the road. But those who are devotees, they are like flying the plane. Everything else is there for them, but it doesn't matter. They become so insignificant for them. Somebody would say, "Oh, did you notice that?" And they say, "Yeah, we noticed that, but it wasn't big enough for us, because we were so much engrossed in the bhakti." And you're right, Brahmjyoti could be a kind of distraction for those who are not ready. And again, Sanatan Sanatan Goswami ji, who is the elder brother of Rupa Goswami ji, he wrote this book where the devotee called Gopala, he went from one place to another. He went to Brahmjyoti as well. And he did the same thing. He loved it there. He said, "Wow, great. I can understand that it's very spiritual," because Brahmjyoti is the very first step in the. If you remember the Goloka chart, when we move where the material world starts and the spiritual world, material world ends and the spiritual world starts, the very first thing which comes is the cloud, Mahatattva cloud, where the Maha Vishnu is. And so that's the transition in between. But just above it, actually that cloud itself comes from Brahmjyoti, but just above it, as soon as we enter spiritual world, the very first thing is that Brahmjyoti. And then many other lokas will start. So this Gopala in that Shastra, he travels through all those places, first in material world and then in spiritual world. And then he went there, he stayed there, and then after a while he got bored. And then when this devotee said, "Oh, my guru is bored," and then another devotee actually gave him the reference. Let's see, Sanatan Goswami wrote this book many years back, and he gave this analogy of this bhakta who traveled there, and any real devotee will get bored there and will not stay for long. This is exactly what happened with him as well. So you're right, Mataji. It could be that this effulgence. And this is what. So if you see, it says your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence, and we can't do anything with that. It's not in our hands. Hence, the devotees hold their hands together, bow down the head, and pray to Krishna. Krishna, it's your this effulgence, as we have seen in many other shlokas, which refer that the Brahmjyoti is the effulgence coming from Krishna's body. So say, "Could you please take this away so I can see your beautiful face?" And this verse itself is saying that it says mukham. The word a lot of again Advaita, those who say Aham Brahmasmi, there is no Krishna, there is no face of Krishna. But here it says that Satya, Satya is the like the truth, the source of everything. And they sthapitam, where it's situated, where the Satya is, where the absolute truth is situated. Could I see that? And that's what is that? That's your mukham. So I would like to go beyond this Brahmjyoti, and I would like to see your mukham, your face. And this is what the devotees are requesting. We are so right, Mataji, that this Brahmjyoti could be one of those kind of hurdle, if you think about it, where a lot of devotees, they get stuck. Hence, there are four verses, but the first two verses of these last four verses is just to say that take me beyond this effulgence, because a lot of devotees, they get stuck there, because when they work towards spiritual, like in Buddhism, they feel pleasure in there, but it's not the pleasure, it's the absence of miseries, which in itself is pleasure, but it's not that pleasure which devotees are seeking. So we have seen that. Hence, what we do very quickly, Sankhya, Jnana, Yoga, Bhakti. We have seen all of them. And the next slide, we will see the references to the verses also. And if you go forward, we have spent the whole session on 9 limbs of bhakti, and we can see the words itself. Sharanam, and this is Prahlad Maharaj, so Shri Prahlad Vacha, Sharanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. So Atmanivedanam is the last bit where the whole Atma is Nivedanam, the surrender to Krishna. So what we are with this body, are with this mind, the gross body, subtle body, but Atma, which is the eternal. So starting from Shravanam, which is the material ears listening to material things, but then move it to the spiritual. But then the whole body will go through, and right at the end, the Atma, the eternal soul, will also surrender to you. And these are the 9 steps being mentioned by Prahlad Maharaji and other devotees who have manifested that. And we have heard of these devotees, Maharaj Parikshit, Sukhdev Goswami Ji, Prahlad Maharaj, Lakshmi Ji, and Prithu Maharaj, and Akrura. So Prithu Maharaj's stories, and all these stories are there in Bhagavatam. Akrura, who went to bring Lord Krishna and Balramji from Vrindavan to Mathura, and Hanumanji in service of Ramji, Arjuna, friend of Krishna, Bali Maharaji, who surrendered everything to Krishna. So the complete surrender, Atmavedana. So this is the poster. Maybe I have shared this, which I think we could print it out and put it on the wall. And this will remind us of these great devotees and the 9 limbs of bhakti, which we could get ourselves engaged in. We did discuss this. So this is coming from Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji, who referred to survey, and it says the source is Lifeway, that how often people say their prayers are answered. But more than that, what kind of prayers people do. And this is very important, that we pray, we should pray to the Lord, but what are we praying for? Is it material or is it spiritual? So again, Lord Ganesha's festivities around, and all of us should get engaged in that auspiciousness, but we should always be very careful. What do we request Lord Ganesha from? Is it material things, material success, or the spiritual progress? So if you see, it says 4%, they prayed someone else to fail. So it's like a great opportunity where we can pray to the Lord for our spiritual progress. But not only that, we are praying for someone else, but we are praying for someone else to fail. And this is what material life is all about. That we don't, and hence, before we reach to this prayer path, before that, we had the upasana, and then before that, we had the right and wrong knowledge. Until we have a right and wrong knowledge, how will we know what to pray, what to worship? And like what Srila Prabhupada always said, that before we become Krishna consciousness, we need to become consciousness. So before we pray, we need to have that knowledge, that wisdom, that what to pray for. And this slide itself is a yardstick, that what we should not get involved in. And like your favorite team to win a game, 13%. So we all are seen in Europe, football, in America, basketball or American football, and maybe in Asia, people get in hockey, cricket, and people really pray for what happens for their own team to win. Well, is that's what the life all about? Not really, but materially, yeah, people will think of it. So benefit of praying, remembering. And that's we have always said, and just said it as well. Shravanam is the very first and the easiest thing. So we should always, and when we pray, and of course we should pray. Some people say, oh, we should pray in our heart, which is good if we are out in public. But if we are alone, we can pray. We can pray out loud because we are going to hear those things. And if it's a spiritual, we will hear a spiritual thing. So Shravanam, the bhakti is happening. So Srila Prabhupadaji's, if he comes once in a year, and for our own Guru Maharaji, we do a function once in a year. And a lot of devotees, they write something. which we would like to share with Prabhupada ji or with our Guru Maharaj ji. The two different occasions. One for Srila Prabhupada ji, one for our Guru Maharaj ji. And devotees across the globe, either they will travel to Vrindavan, maybe to Mayapur, or these days join Zoom, and devotees share what they have written. And those are prayers. If you get the chance, and maybe if you, so we call it offering. So offering to Srila Prabhupada. And I'm sure if you'll search on YouTube, you will find it. And you can hear what devotees have written and what kind of prayers they are doing to Srila Prabhupada and to Guru Maharaj. Two things are involved in it. So the structure of the prayer, most of the time, not that you think about it, but you are in that deep thoughts about Lord, two things will happen. First, the glories of Krishna, how great the Lord is. And the second, gratitude. So first is that, Lord, you are eternal, you're auspicious, you're always there for us. The second, thank you, Krishna. You have given us such a great opportunity to associate with so lovely devotees. The two things will happen. First, glorifying the Lord, and the second, full of gratitude. And if you see, this was our Vedic culture as well. In Vedic culture, when Durvasa Muni traveled to Amrish Maharaj narrated his glories, and then that from your blessings what I have received. The same thing, Bali Maharaj ji, this is in Bhagavatam, Bali Maharaj ji to Vaman Dev. So when Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu came in form of, we also call Upendra, which is Vaman avatar. And he goes there, Bali Maharaj does the same. Bali Maharaj said, let me wash your feet. And said, you are a Brahmin. Your presence itself is auspicious for me. He was a king and he was giving away everything, what he had. But very first thing, he glorified a Brahmin. Right? And after that, full of gratitude that whatever I have is because of the benedictions I got from Brahmins like you. So you are great, and what I have is from you. So those two things in the prayer. And this is what the benefits of the prayers are. Whenever we pray, we always remember Krishna. Now, our own endeavors can only take us to a certain level, but ultimate goal will attain only by the mercy of Vaishnavas and mercy of Krishna. So we said we from in the last previous verses, we 12, 13, and 14, we did do the right and wrong way of Upasana, demigod worship, impersonal worship. But now what we're saying, that worship itself will not do anything. The prayers needs to be answered. Like again, the two fingers, what we do in now very soon, Damodar month is coming. That two fingers, one is our endeavor, our hard work, but second is the mercy of Krishna. And exactly the same thing here. We even if we do the right way of worship, that's our worship. That worship will be accepted by other person or not, we can't really control that. What? But we can worship. And then the second finger is that senior Vaishnavas will pray to Lord for us. This is what Srila Prabhupada ji said. That stay with me, I will take you. And the proper mood, we have said it always, that the consciousness should be pure. It doesn't matter what we wear, it doesn't matter what we offer to Krishna. What matters is what is our consciousness. And that's the proper mood. And that's what the devotees always and always manifest. So when we say we are getting better, how are we getting better? Our consciousness will get purified again and again. Right? So I think we have seen this Om Pavanuranga Namaha. We have shared this, and Ajay Prabhuji is from there, and he shared a lot. I think that was the last session we did, where we discussed the stories of many devotees and this happens across the globe, wherever the devotees of the Lord is. Lord are and autobiography of Yogi, where Paramahansa Yogananji travels across the globe and he met different devotees from different religions, and he realizes that they are pure devotees. So again, ISKCON is Krishna conscious, but Krishna conscious is not just ISKCON. Out of ISKCON, there could also be real, true devotees. Hence, we should always respect her. And if you take the example, when Dhruv Maharaj in Bhagavatam, he had his stepmother chastised him, and because of her wrong sayings, he went away and he met Lord. And then later, whenever she found out, oh, well, he's a great Vaishnava, because at that moment he wasn't a great Vaishnava, but later on he became a great Vaishnava. So the aparadha she did was against the Vaishnava. So similarly, when we look for devotees or non-devotees, if you say, oh, well, devotees, we should always take care of it. We should, because of course, otherwise the Vaishnava aparadh can happen. But non-devotees, that's okay, we can do aparadh. No, because non-devotees could become devotees in future, right? And then the aparadh we have done for them, even when they were non-devotees, will come back and bite us. So hence, as we say, Brahman realization, but after that, Paramatma realization, which meant we will see Paramatma in everyone. Whether the other person realizes or not is a different thing, but we will see Paramatma in everyone. And this is what we are saying, that Krishna will reciprocate. If we have the bhava, now this is the letter to Brahmanandji in Vrindavan, which Srila Prabhupada ji has replied back. One of the main things he said, that impersonalists cannot reciprocate. And that's so true. As we said, if you're in Brahmjyoti, you're in Brahmjyoti. You can't interact with Krishna. There is no need for anyone to chant there. And no one will chant. No one will do any service to anyone, because there won't be. What kind of services we do? We do food for life, right? We do that, but there won't be any need to eat there. And if somebody is suffering from something, then we serve the person, but there won't be any need. And everybody is spiritual. Nobody will go temple. There isn't any temple in Brahmjyoti. So you can't go and listen to Bhagavatam class. So impersonalists, they can't connect to the Lord. And if you can't connect to the Lord, what Krishna said, there are four kind of devotees. In Bhagavad Gita, he says, four kind of devotees who come to me, and according to their desires, I reciprocate to them. All these four types of devotees, none of them will exist in Brahmjyoti. None of them will be impersonal, because all these four types, more or less, the last one is Jnani, who is on the path of spiritual progress, don't want anything, just the spiritual progress. Maybe Siddhartha Gautam, because before he became Buddha, he fell into that category, fourth category. But mind it, all those four categories, they are material, right? And Brahmjyoti is spiritual. So these four categories, the people in these four categories, they won't be there in Brahmjyoti, which meant Krishna says these four people come to me, but these four people don't exist in Brahmjyoti, which meant no one in Brahmjyoti will come to me. If they won't come to me, then how will I reciprocate? Because Krishna is ready to reciprocate. But Krishna will only reciprocate if the devotees will interact. But devotees will not interact in Brahmjyoti. Hence, the teaching of Queen Kunti, the section in Bhagavatam, but the book written by Prabhupada ji, he says, Kunti Maharani ji, when after everything, her sons are now the kings and the princes, and Indraprastha being established, the whole kingdom is theirs. And Lord Krishna is saying, well, I'm off now. Everything is done. I'm going back to Dwarka. She said, please, what she's requesting, what she's praying to Lord Krishna. Hey, Lord Krishna, please give me miseries. And what? Why? Because when in absence of miseries, people won't think about you. And most of the time, that's so true. People don't think about Krishna. People only think about Krishna when there are miseries, right? And we want to get rid of miseries. So if in a spiritual world, in Brahm Jyoti, there is no misery, people will not think about Krishna. Hence, in this letter, Prabhupada has said it that the impersonal, therefore, simply enjoys the troubles of speculations. That, of course, because they haven't gone beyond the Brahm Jyoti, they don't know what lies beyond it. This is the overview of the whole topic, which we have seen, but we'll see it again. Poshanam, we have seen that Krishna is the ultimate maintainer. And anyways, even in Trimurti, we always said Brahma the creator, Shiva the destructor, and Vishnu is the maintainer. So we can understand there as well. Only for the pleasure. Why do we need to pray? Not for our pleasure, but for the Lord's pleasure. Why? Because if, let's say we work for a company, if the owner of the companies, they get richer and richer, the company is doing well, chances are we are the servants and we will also do. Right? We are in service. Where do you work? We are we work in this company, we are in the service of this company. Company got a lot of money. Chances are, of course, it could be materially that the bosses are corrupt and they're greedy, they don't want to share the profits with the employees. But all the good companies, they do share. So during COVID, things fell bad for the company. Hence, the people were made redundant. Now, when the companies are flourishing, the people are flourishing. They got higher packages, they got the bonuses, they got the higher benefits, extra benefits rather than just their salaries. And all that happened because the company is doing good. So when the people are working, they're working for the company's success, not for their individual success. Like collectively, everyone should be working towards the company's success. If the company is successful, they are considered as successful. If somebody will go for an interview and the interviewer will ask, so which company did you work for? If you will give the example of a company which was failing, you can say, oh, I did great in that company, but the company failed. That won't be a good example. But you'll say, oh, well, I worked in that company, and during my time, the company did so well that company's share price got double. Then the interviewer will think, wow, if you're coming for that great company, then definitely you got some skills. So that's the reason when devotees pray to Krishna, we pray for the Krishna's pleasure. We devotees would love to do what Krishna loves. And I might have shared this before that in London, in O2 Arena, once I went, and a good friend of mine from different religion took me there. And being maybe the spiritual inclination, I always love the debates and interreligious discussions. I went with him, and he was dressed very differently. And I asked him, what's the reason of this dress? Because I've always seen a Western dress. And he said, now, see, the followers of Michael Jackson try to imitate Michael Jackson's dresses. And I have my own prophet I admire. Hence, I would like to dress like him. When I thought about it, I thought, well, that's not true. Because that's what devotees do. Because Krishna always used to wear dhoti and kurta. That's the reason devotees all over the world, they wear dhoti and kurta. There is no other reason. It's not that because it's comfortable and all. It's just because Krishna used to wear. Hence, devotees love to wear. Hence, this is a Vaishnav attire. And similarly, what Gopi used to wear in the temple, they say what they allow. They say either you wear saris or Gopi Lehenga. The name itself is Gopi Lehenga. What is Gopi Lehenga? What Gopis used to wear. And still, if till today, if you go in Barsana, we can see that Gopis is still what the Mataji is there. They still wear that. That's their normal day-to-day dress, and that's what called Gopi dress, and that's what Gopi Langa is allowed in the temples. So whatever we do for the pleasure of God, pleasure of Lord, and then so in this, what's good for Krishna? But here, what's good for Krishna? Well, Krishna is called Govinda, Gopala. Krishna loves cows. Hence, devotees love cows, right? So, how can we serve Krishna? We can serve Krishna by serving those who serve Krishna and those whom Krishna loves. And that's the whole idea of getting engaged in devotional services. And this is what we have seen this before, but it's great to summarize it. This is where the Shakti, the feminine side, the Radhajis come in, where we have, so initially, on the top, we discussed this during Goloka chart. Krishna is there. Krishna is explaining to Arjun in Bhagavad Gita that there is a para and apara Shakti. Para, which is a spiritual, para, beyond. Apara, which is negate, which is not beyond, which is inferior. And now, what is inferior? The inferiority of consciousness. Remember, everything comes back to the consciousness. Everything comes back. So if there are two students and one student got great marks, one student maybe 100%, one student only got maybe 80%. 80% is great as well, but not as great as 100%. But now the one who got 100% is rude. That person says, I got 100%. All those who got lesser than me, you guys are less intelligent than me. Then people won't like him, right? Well, somebody who got 80% says, oh, well, thank you to my parents, thank you to my teachers who helped me to get it. And hopefully I will fix that 20% where I didn't get it. I will try to work hard. Right? It's all about the consciousness. Hence, in the interviews these days, they don't just see, okay, you got 100%, hence you got the job. No. Otherwise, all the 100%, they don't even need to take interviews. They will just say, see the mark sheet and give the jobs to the top 10 available candidates. And then the next company will come and take the next 10 available candidates. But no, they take the interviews. What do? They check the consciousness. They check what we call attitude. Could you work with us? Your ethos, your ethics, do they align with the company's ethics or not? And somebody said, asked the question that, why do you want to work for our company? And the young graduate, of course, didn't have the experience in the industry, but did a research on that company. And what the devotee said, because your company has these 4 core values, and I think any company who has these 4 core values will be a great employer. And that was the thing employers loved about it, that these 4 core competencies define the culture in our company. Hence, I would like to work, which meant that I would like to get associated with it. So we will get further in this. And as at the bottom, we can see the reference from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 6 and these 4 verses, where this has been repeated. It's also there in Bhagavad Gita, but in purport, but being there in detail in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We will start from here next week, but and then we will go further. But this is very important for us to understand that what are different manifestations of Krishna's energies, but everything, all the energies, material or spiritual, including ourselves, because we are marginal, is, well, what's in the middle, Jiva, Sola, Tathast. We are also Krishna's part and parcel. So thank you so much for your association today. And I look forward to have you back again next week. And we will start from this slide and we'll go further to hopefully conclude this mantra so we can get to the next month. With that, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, jai jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Dhanyavad.
Prabhuji.
Hare.